The sun is beginning to set here at the Eastside Center, but we are just getting started with tonight's baseball lineup. Peoria Sunday Morning League baseball to be exact, and it's the playoffs. Two long-time league powers collide for the second time this week. It's the Miller Lite Falcons and the Crusens Reds here in East Peoria, Illinois. Good evening, everyone. Jonathan Michael here alongside Ethan Carboni for this one. We just saw the Poor Bros Jacks emphatically clinch a championship series spot over the Coles Diamond Gallery Royals. And Ethan, tonight the Crusens Reds have a chance to do the same here as well.
Indeed they do, John. And like you said, we're under the lights here. Beautiful night. Excited for a great night of baseball.
Should be a good one again. A second time these teams have faced off this week. Crusens won 5-0 earlier in the week. We broadcasted that game actually on Monday. Hunter Thornton in a complete game shutout. And we're already getting going here. Peyton Bradford starts off this game for the Falcons with a single. And it's just how you want to start if you're Miller Lite. Looking at their lineup, it'll be Bradford again, who's already on first base. Noah Campbell, followed by Justin Fletcher, Colin Deering, Luke Ketchum, Ethan Sosnowski, Chase Ulrich, Cole Bakai, and Brian Quinn rounding out the Falcons batters here tonight. As now we're going to look at Campbell, who went 1 for 3 against these Reds on Monday. Looks at a strike there.
And we already saw Bradford get on base, swung at the first pitch. Looks like the Falcons are definitely going to be aggressive today at the plate.
I think they certainly will be, again, especially, facing a new pitcher, definitely not one that is any easier by any means. Ponce, I should say Andrew Ponce, was fully introduced him. Pitcher from Knox College has been quite dominant this year.
Yes, he has, with a 2.33 ERA and 27 innings pitched. Most innings pitched out of anyone on the team this year.
What's most impressive, though, is his 29 strikeouts to 2 walks. That is almost unheard of as Campbell lays off there on a ball. Bradford at first has a bit of speed, 2 stolen bases on the season. And we saw early in that first game, Ethan, as Ponce strikes out Campbell there for the first out of the game. That's a big one because we saw the Jacks put up a big crooked number early on the Royals, and then they couldn't come back the entire time.
No, they couldn't. I got here in the second inning right before the home run, but from there on, it was just all Poor Bros.
So the Reds will hope to not have the same happen to them tonight. Again, they have a bit of a safety net tonight. If they lose, they're not out of the playoffs. Instead, they would have to come back, face the Falcons tomorrow in a winner-take-all game for the right to face the Jacks in a best-of-3 series. That begins on Sunday. However, the Falcons do not. They, in this double elimination format, they sort of used up their loss, so to say. So they are on a bit thinner of ice, but it's a very good team that should give Crusens a great game. But Justin Fletcher, the league's leading batter in terms of average, swings and misses there.
And he was 1-3 on Monday.
Fletcher only one of just a few Falcons that got hits. Again, Thornton, if memory serves me right, I believe, again, only gave up 3 hits against these Reds, was just dialed in all game long, and that's all you can ask for, really. Not only do you get a good performance, you get the win, but you also get to save your pitching staff for these games that kind of come in rapid succession once you get to the playoffs.
Indeed, and it's very different because you're looking at two teams that have played 25 and 24 games respectively. So having a few games back-to-back is not something they might be used to.
At times, there are a couple doubleheaders here during the Sunday Morning League season. Each team plays a few, but usually the kind of cadence of the week is you play on Sunday, you play on Wednesday, maybe you have a doubleheader on one of those days. Usually you're playing about 3 games a week. Now you're playing 3 or 4 games in 3 or 4 days as Fletcher Foul tips it right into the mitt of Logan Van Hooklen for Ponce's second strikeout. Let's get a look at the Reds' defensive alignment today. Again, it's Ponce on the mound with Van Hooklen behind the dish. Then Reed Stuffelbeam, Caden Spencer at first and second. Noah Funk at shortstop and Jason Clark at third. Travis Grant in left, Peyton Hankins in center, Keegan Busby in right today for the Reds. As we're going to look here at Colin Deering for the Falcons. He's been hitting well so far this week. Has had doubles in both of the last 2 days.
And going back to the Reds, we're seeing Ponce hitting his spots in the zone. He's hitting a lot of the low corners here.
Great command so far from the Reds hurler. That one just misses on the inside there, and it brings up kind of an interesting talking point. You know, I've heard this fairly recently. You know, there's a difference between command and control. Now, control means that you can throw strikes, not be wild. Command means that you can pinpoint your pitches exactly where you want to throw. Runner is going here. Van Hooklen does not throw. Didn't think he had a shot there against Bradford, who's got his third steal of the season.
Now Deering has a runner in scoring position if he chooses to swing, but it's a 3-1 count.
See if Deering swings the bat here, make it something to hit. He does, and he lines it foul onto the walkway that some fans may have taken in from the parking lot here at the Eastside Center. Game 2 of a doubleheader here, and sun is beginning to set behind us. Deering grounds it off the glove of Ponce. He's digging for first. It's going to be a tough play, but Funk still makes it, gets it over to Stuffelbeam, and the Reds put up a 0 in the top of the first. What a play.
Great play in the middle of the infield there, off the tip off the glove by the pitcher. The Reds stayed calm. They were able to get out of the inning.
Ponce looking good in the early going despite the leadoff single from Bradford on the first pitch of the game. And we'll see what Miller Lite can do here in the bottom of the first in the field. And again, if the Reds win tonight, it would be a rematch of the Sunday Morning League Championship Series from last year.
And Miller, the Miller Lite Falcons here having Seaton pitching, who is 2-1 on the season with a 2.55 ERA and 24 2/3 innings pitched. Has 23 strikeouts to 8 walks in comparison to Ponce's 29 to 2. But don't be confused, still having the 23 Ks just through the 3 games that he's been awarded the start. Has been a solid season here for Seaton.
And yeah, Seaton, or I should say Bryce Seaton. I've been giving the players a full introduction tonight. I should be saying both their first and last names, but again, Bryce Seaton had a pretty good season so far. Falcons pitching staff has just been dominant this entire season. Got Clay McConkey, David Ellis. Those are the 2 main guys, but Seaton has been a good number 3 option, and he gets the call here tonight. He'll face Peyton Hankins first, the Reds center fielder. Made some nice plays back on Monday. And Hankins is hitting .326 this season. Very similar to his .320 mark that he put up at Carl Sandburg College this past year. This one has hit well to center, but right into the glove of awaiting Bradford.
Solid contact there out to center, just happened to go right to the player.
Saw that a lot in the last game. Again, Royals of Cole's Diamond Gallery only had 3 hits to show for it, but they had a lot of hard hit balls. Unfortunately, just every single time, it just seemed to come right to someone in the field.
That sounds like Christopher Morel during his time with the Cubs.
Second game in a row I've shared the booth with a Cubs fan. This Cardinals fan feels a little lonely right now as Travis Grant comes in, the lefty and league veteran of 12 years. His in left tonight. Looking to improve on a performance where he went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts back on Monday. And he was an all-star back in 2023. So he's, one of many veterans. Can still get it done in this league. Swing and a miss there, though.
And despite being a 12-year veteran, he still has some youthfulness on the base path with 6 stolen bases this year.
And he's got lots of speed as well. Him and Trent Jordan, a 22-year league veteran on this Reds team, so they got some good vets. This one is hit well, and a nice single there from Grant. That one had a good exit angle to it, and also some good exit velocity as well. So that'll bring up Logan Van Hooklen, and this young man swung a very big bat on Monday, went 2 for 3 with a double and his first home run of the season, and there wasn't much doubt about it. And so he was one of, we gave our unofficial players of the game. If Thornton hadn't pitched a complete game shutout, would have definitely gone to Van Hooklen, but he was definitely the Reds' best batter as he fouls that one straight back. This one hit well to left center. This one could go deep. This one back, and it's off the track. It's a ground rule double for Van Hooklen, only mere feet away from crossing the fence.
And like you said, mere feet, that's the difference between 2 runs, but having 2 men in scoring position is not bad at all for the Crusens Reds to start off the game.
Yeah, second and third with 1 out is kind of like your odds here of at least plating 1. But we'll see what Seton can do here on the mound against the cleanup hitter Jason Clark. Comes in hitting over 300 this year. I wonder if maybe Seton pitches around him here just to maybe set up a double play possibility. That one, nice stop there by Cole Bakai behind the dish.
And with him being 9th in the Peoria Sunday Morning League in batting average, like you said, you got to wonder, because is the double play the right move? Albeit early in the game, you still don't want to leave the bases full with just one out.
Reds looking for a big frame early, just like the Poor Bros Jacks did a few hours ago. Sent 10 batters up to bat in the top of the first, and 6 of them scored. Reed Stufflebeam on deck for the Reds. He'll probably come to bat with a RBI opportunity or 2, maybe even 3. Clark, that one bounces, another good stop by Bakai. We saw that in the top of the first. I know you weren't here. I know you were just Ethan Carboni, again, folks, coming in straight in from Chicago, coming back, call this game, come back in town for your junior year at Bradley. But anyway, there were some tough pitches that bounced on the turf, got past the Royals catcher, and allowed Poor Bros to score some runs early on. That one, again, fouled straight back at our camera operator, Josh Messenger. So pretty good defense, again, because that, again, we touched on that first game. That ball bounces different on that turf when there's a low pitch.
Do you know how they decide if it's the turf field or the grass field that they're playing on?
Not quite sure. We can, maybe a guy that has more insight sitting right behind us, though. We'll ask him in a second as Clark grounds out. Travis Grant comes across the score, though, and so a productive out for the Crusens Reds. And 2 out, and runner on third for Stufflebeam as the Reds go ahead 1-0. We're bringing a special guest here, maybe here in the booth next, and he will make it a surprise on who it is. But a player that has maybe very recognizable in the Sunday Morning League for many reasons, as Stufflebeam looks at a strike there. Stufflebeam had hits in exactly 1/4 of his at-bats this past year at Monmouth College, Division III level. Always have to clarify again because there's the Division I Monmouth and the Division III Monmouth.
Anytime I see Monmouth, I just assume Division One, because I'm so used to seeing their basketball program on ESPN.
Well, when you live in Central Illinois most of your whole life, you think Monmouth and you think of the D3 school because it's just closer. A lot of area high school athletes go there, and really an athletic program that's interesting about Monmouth. Very much kind of like Eureka College, very big on letting their athletes play multiple sports. You don't see that very often in the college level, but you do see it more at the D3 level. As that one is in the turf, another good stop by Bakai.
And like you mentioned about the turf, we're seeing the runners take extra long leads because if the ball does get behind the catcher, it's a free stolen base, even if it's third to home.
Yeah, you can't let one get by here if you are Bakai. But he's done great in that regard so far. But Seaton says, don't need to worry about that. I'll strike out Stufflebeam. And that will do it for the bottom of the first. The Reds strike first on an RBI groundout from Jason Clark. I'm at the Falcons. See what they have to say about that coming in the top of the second. Real quick, I want to thank all of our great sponsors that help make today's broadcast possible, starting with BodyArmor, the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League, for a great refreshing flavor and hydration and multiple different flavors as well. BodyArmor is the choice. And also by Crusens, proud sponsor of the Reds, 3 area locations in the Peoria area on War Memorial Drive, Farmington Road, and Route 29 in Creve Coeur. I want to thank them for their support, as well as Miller Lite and Baumgarten Distributing, longtime sponsors of the Sunday Morning League. And Baumgarten Distributing, obviously proud to distribute Miller Lite as one of their signature products. And we'll see if we can bring in our special guest here. As the Reds get warmed up here in the top of the second. Again, in case you didn't tune in for the first game, beautiful night here at the Eastside Center. Great temperatures, no humidity, no wind. Really could not be much better at all. As Ponce climbs the hill for his second inning. We'll bring in our special guest here in just a second. As for the Falcons, they will have Luke Ketchum, Ethan Sosnowski, and Chase Ulrich due up to bat. Ketchum, interesting fact about him, wears number 99. A relatively unique number. Although you see it, though, with a couple teams, we did see JT Kaiser and the Royals also wear number 99 as well.
So, just thinking about the number 99, who in MLB history has been the best number 99, if you can think any off the top of your head?
Well, I think on the top of the head, you got to think Aaron Judge, right? I mean, I don't know every number 99, but Judge was one of them. And, he's the one that jumps out right away. I had to do some more research and see. But it's kind of fun looking at those lists and the best players to wear each number. Especially in baseball, like who is the best player to ever wear number 73? I bet the maybe bar wouldn't be quite as high for that one.
Probably not. But now I want to look up the number 73 in baseball history.
Well, something to do to maybe kind of one of those late night Google searches. Then you go down the rabbit hole, and all of a sudden, then you're still up well past midnight. Catch a big swing and a miss there, and a nice pitch from Ponce. And added to that strikeout to walk ratio, now 31-2. Quick math, that's 15 and a half strikeouts for every walk. Make that 16 for every walk after a fan of Luke Ketchum, the big Falcon slugger.
Now batting the right fielder, number 44, Ethan Sosnowski.
16 strikeouts per every walk is probably better than any pitcher I've ever seen if we were keeping that rate through an entire season.
In the Major League Baseball, maybe some very strong relievers may have strikeout to walk ratios of 6 or 7 to 1, but 16 to 1 again is pretty much unheard of. Again, much smaller sample size here in the Sunday Morning League, but still very impressive nonetheless for the product of Knox College. Graduated there in 2020, but before then, Ponce was a normal U-High pioneer. He's also the reigning league pitcher of the year. Looks like Sosnowski went in just to be safe. Van Hookling gives him the tag, so 4 strikeouts in the first 6 batters, first 6 batters that Ponce has seen.
Chase Ulrich.
Ulrich's drawn 13 walks on the year, but that number won't mean much against Ponce if he continues his dominance on the mound.
And Ulrich is one of a couple of Falcons with a very good eye, with more strikeouts than he does walks. He's still looking for his first hit, at least in the last 2 days, though. It was 0 for 3 both yesterday against the Brienzo's Orioles and also 0 for 3 against these Reds here on Monday. Count even at 1. Ponce fires one low, and Ulrich does not offer. Here's the one fire. That one able to get a good contact there, but straight back out of play. Reds looking for, again, their second straight very strong pitching performance against these Falcons, one of the better hitting teams in the Sunday Morning League. They didn't lead in runs. They didn't lead in average among the league's 8 teams, but they're right up there in many different categories. Breaking ball broke just a bit too late. And Ulrich, well, Ethan, you said it was unlikely, but he did it. He drew the walk against Ponce.
Number 11.
Great eye by Ulrich there. That's number 14 on the year for Ulrich and number 3 on the season for Ponce.
I'll bring up Cole Bakai. Scored 2 runs yesterday, despite not getting a hit. He is teammates with Colin Deering, again, fellow Falcon at Illinois College down in Jacksonville. Just about 15 to 20 minutes west of Springfield. Another great pitch there from Ponce, and quickly 0-2. Just seems just like that. Ponce can just really have you down and fighting for your life in an at-bat.
Again, he hits the corners very well, whether it be with his fastball or one of his breaking balls. And he can also make you swing, as we saw there.
That's now 5 strikeouts, including all outs in the top of the second. Not going to say he struck out the side. Well, he technically did. Again, yeah, that walk from Ulrich sandwiched in between. But regardless, doesn't matter the K's amount. Ponce is looking fantastic so far as we move on in the bottom of the second, where we will see Busby, Barham, and Spencer hit for the Reds, and we'll also see, again, that special guest that we promised. It's Zach Schulte, the president of the Sunday Morning League and manager of the Poor Bros. Zach, pleasure to have you along in the booth. And first things first, I mean, fantastic win you guys just had. That was pretty much pure dominance.
Thank you. Yeah, we were ready to go today for sure. It really felt good just jumping out that first inning right out of the gate. And John, I want to say first off, thank you guys for doing such a great job. Thanks Clutch Sports for doing such a great job presenting these games as what they are, which is just really high-level amateur baseball, and we're excited you guys are a part of it.
Well, pleasure is ours. It's been a fantastic season and a very fun one again, broadcasting the PSML again, and told our viewers multiple times, but it's been fun. This is our first time broadcasting playoff games. As we were there all throughout the regular season last year, but being able to do these 4 playoff games kind of adds more excitement, more suspense as well, and this is really the pinnacle of it with these elimination games here tonight.
No doubt. We have 2 really great teams. This is the second and third seeded teams. Miller Lite gave us fits this year. Well, we were 2-1 against them. They're not going to go down. They're not going to go down without a fight tonight.
They certainly will not. Is again so many veterans on that team.
Right. They're going with Seaton tonight. He's been solid all year. So I love Seaton tonight. He's been really solid all year. But I love Ponce too. Ponce is reigning pitcher of the year. So Miller Lite's definitely got their hands full tonight if they're going to try to advance and make this, this is technically what you would call a 3-game series between them because they want, Crusens wins on Monday. Then Miller has to beat Brienzo's on Tuesday to get back into the series. So this is really the game 2 of this series, but that is the disadvantage of losing one of the first 2 games of a double elimination tournament.
Certainly, this one is kind of mile high and out to left, and caught there by Ketchum. So Keegan Busby, the former Pekin Dragon, flies out. Now we'll see Jack Barham.
Busby, one of those candidates for Rookie of the Year, had a great rookie year. I think he hit like above 290 at least. 298, and he hit a couple bombs. Really good Pekin product.
And he's also again like Deering and Bakai going to Illinois College.
That's what I thought. Nice. Yep.
So that'll be pretty good team down there.
Deering is one of the best players of all time at Illinois College.
Deering 2019 All-Conference player. So my apologies. I don't know if Deering and Bakai would have been teammates. Deering may have been before Bakai's time, but
Bakai's a little bit older, but one of those really good veterans that we have in the league. Really good catcher, really good hitter. And just a good also good outfielder for Miller Lite. Just a really good tool, that Miller Lite, that Lance Herlica has in his back pocket.
And there's certainly lots of them, and it's kind of a reason that this team goes so far. But arguably, obviously, the biggest tool that they got is pitching, and it's interesting because. Again, you have that 1-2 combo of McConkey and Ellis. I likened it to a Mike Tyson 1-2 punch. I mean, there's really not a ton you can do when you're facing those two. They have a good third option in Bryce Seaton. But even though we've talked about the Falcons pitchers as Seaton gets a strikeout there, it's been the Reds pitchers that have dominated so far.
It has been. And this is Seaton. This is a big game for Seaton. But you could almost say this is, equally as a big game. He pitched in the sectional championship of just a few months ago for Peoria Notre Dame and won that game. So he's used to big playoff pitching.
Certainly is. He had 8 strikeouts in the super sectional game against Wilmington. This one is hit well up the center. Spencer can't quite lig it out though. A nice play by Noah Campbell over there at short. 1-2-3 inning for Seaton.
Noah Campbell going to South Carolina Beaufort. I believe that's where he's going. I think Cole Thomas from Brienzo is also ICC teammate going to South Carolina Beaufort. So there's a lot of ICC guys in the league that are going on and playing at big schools. Horcham for us is going to Bradley. So a lot of guys moving on.
It's always good to see those guys that whether they go to junior college or not move on to the next level. But we were talking the other day and see it's always great to see guys from schools like ICC, Carl Sandburg, Lincoln Land Community College go on and make that step up because usually coaches usually love those guys. They really have priority over high school players and really almost any sport nowadays is junior college becoming that more preferred avenue. Yeah,
I mean they're the ones getting. So there's a total obviously a huge jump from high school to junior college and from junior college to Division I or Division II sometimes. But those junior college they're getting the real college reps that we try to also replicate here in the summer.
Sure.
So this is collegiate reps in the summer. And this is. Guys are facing Andrew Ponce. He's all conference at Knox College. He's one of the best guys you'll see. Sometimes if you follow Ponce on Instagram, he's deadlifting 600 pounds.
Oh my word!
This guy's a physical. He's a physical freak.
Wow.
His lower body strength is he's one of the strongest players pound for pound in the Sunday Morning League. It's why he throws so hard and why he generates so much movement from his lower body. I will say here on Brian Quinn, I mean. This guy, he's a true living legend. I forget his exact age, but this dude's a freak and so dedicated to the game. He's in the cage, he's in the cage a lot in the off season, which a guy that's playing this at this level has to be. So I'm excited to see what he does here against Ponce.
Now Quinn, as a manager, led the Falcons to championships in 2010, 2011, 2015, 2016. He's also top 10 all-time in Sunday Morning League hits, runs, RBIs, doubles, and stolen bases. So he's had lots of longevity, and he's not only still doing it, but still doing it pretty good as well. I mean, he's hitting 231 this year, so overall, good enough to get in the starting lineup as the designated hitter.
Yeah, elimination game. Lance Hurdler goes to the best, goes who we can count on for years. It's been Brian Quinn.
Quinn in his college days went to Western Illinois University, and back on Tuesday went 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Breaking pitch there from Ponce comes in for a ball. Now the sun has officially set. Crescent moon out tonight behind us. That one hit well by Quinn up into the night sky, and Busby looks like he'll settle under it and put it away for the out. So not a hit there for Quinn, but again, still a very hard hit ball there.
Now batting the center fielder number 4, Peyton Bradford.
Now we'll go back to the top of the order in Bradford, who had his first RBI the entire season back yesterday. And again, good hitter, just never had that opportunity to get one, and finally broke through.
Bradford's a little limited this year, but let's see. Oh, I mean, he can
as you say that,
he still has it. He never lost it either.
2 pitches, 2 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he has only seen 2 pitches
he had
tonight.
He had a great year last year, and solid year again this year.
Campbell.
Yeah, he's been on the Falcons for years, and a guy that, like I said, elimination game, Hrdlicka's going to guys he counts on. That's Bradford.
And talk about Lance Hrdlicka, the 7th season manager for the Falcons. He also led them to championships in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So mark that as 7 total Tomey trophies that this Miller Lite franchise has won since 2010. Looking to make it number 8, but again, Zach, your Jacks are maybe potentially on the verge of still baseball left to be played,
still
but
some more left.
be played, but 2 in a row. Maybe we could start that conversation of maybe the Jacks are the new dynasty in the Sunday Morning League. We'll see.
We're just trying to play high level competitive baseball, and what falls on our play will fall on it. But either way, we're going to have our hands full with either of these teams. We will have our hands full this coming Sunday.
Again, obviously regular season, not separated by much, just less than 2 games or less versus both of these teams. So really, I think you could flip a coin going into it. So definitely don't want to miss that baseball at Dozer Park. Best of 3 series that kicks off this Sunday. Noah Campbell just was a strikeout victim of Ponce. Here goes the Redder Bradford, and he's in with his 2nd steal of the night.
And if you're a real baseball junkie, like I know there's a lot of real baseball junkies in Peoria, go to the Chiefs game at 2 o'clock, stay for the Sunday Morning League game at 6 o'clock. Go grab a bite to eat.
Perfect.
And then come back at 6. Have a big Sunday with the family.
That sounds like a pretty good doubleheader to me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I will be in Colorado this weekend, but I will be following along the action.
Oh yeah.
Probably on Game Changer as it unfolds.
Alkire, our guy Brock Alkire will be live tweeting and giving the Instagram updates as well. I think if you don't follow him, it's at Brock Alkire _2 on Twitter.
Yeah, he's been all over the Sunday Morning League this year, providing some really good coverage.
Yeah, we love having him. Shout out to Brock.
Brock also doing the PA work here tonight, so kind of a jack of all trades as we see Justin Fletcher. His best trade is hitting for batting average, again hitting .447 coming into tonight.
Yep.
Won't get a chance to increase it here, but he'll get on
Fletcher,
base.
He's one of the many pros, ex-professional baseball players. He played on the Corn Belters team when they were in the Frontier League and when they were at their height. I know now that the Corn Belters are a prospect league team over there, but he was with them when they were, the Frontier team.
I have a double check. I'll have to check on the name. I think it was a player on the previous team, Ted Rowe, on the Royals, another former player that also played in the Frontier League as well.
Rowe. So Teddy Rowe played at University of Illinois. Very good pitcher at University of Illinois. Long-time Sunday Morning League. I can't pull stats on him on top of my head, but he is, he's up there. Strikeouts, wins. Long-time guy for Pitcher Perfect and Coles.
He played for the Milkmen, right?
No, that was Ryan Dunn. That was Ryan Dunn,
Yeah.
the pitcher who
Yeah.
pitched a couple innings for the Royals. So,
Yeah, Ryan Dunn was
Yep.
high A for the Cincinnati Reds.
yep. As Logan Van Hooklen and Ponce talking things over just a little bit. This is really the only time that Ponce has come close to faltering today with a single and a walk, but still in control here with 2 outs as he'll face Deering.
Ponce is as good as it gets. Just as a pitcher, just really dedicated to his craft, really dedicated to his body. Just takes such good care of himself, and that's why he's out here. He's throwing gas.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. That one is it's got a mile high. Might land on top of the press box. No, it lands on top of the net right here above us. So I'll make it 1-1. Zach, it was funny. Earlier in the week we were talking, both on and off the air with our other broadcasters. That felt like this year might be the year that a lower seed may make a pretty deep run, given how close everyone was. And funny enough, we thought it would happen, and it's turned out quite the opposite. The cream of the crop is at the top yet again.
Yeah, we had a few upsets. We had Firehouse beat Tin Lizard.
Sure.
And then Brienzo's Brienzo's lost. But
they I believe they lost on Sunday.
Lost on Sunday.
Won on Monday. Lost yesterday.
Won on Monday. I forget who they beat on Monday.
I think they beat the Move Smart Mariners, I believe.
Yep. Move Smart. I mean, they had it was so tight. The whole race, the whole seeding race was so tight. It was all one game spread the whole way down.
Deering fouls that one off and bounces out of play.
And there was a lot of good players. Ethan Hurst, Tyler Pippin from Tin Lizard. It's baseball is such a weird sport where there's these one-offs are just it's not unfair because both teams are playing one game, but sometimes it's just it's crucial.
It's unpredictable.
Unpredictable. That's a good word for it. But we had a lot of Ben Kelly from Firehouse. They were the last place team, but Ben Kelly.
Phenomenal
he's in the conversation, so we haven't finalized the MVP. He's in the conversation for MVP. He is right there with Fletcher for the batting title. There was good players all over, great players all over.
I think Kelly have about 20 stolen bases or so as
26 stolen bases.
That is crazy.
So I think
That's over one per game.
I think he jumped into the third or fourth most all-time in a regular season. I think the most all-time is 34 or 35 in a regular season. But the Sunday morning leagues, it goes back so long, so far. They weren't always playing 24 games. So we used to play years and years ago, play 40 games almost in the 40s and 50s. They used to play like 40 games. So some of the stats, it's hard to say who is the all-time or the single-season hits leader, who is the single-season home run leader. That discussion is, up for the history bugs of Peoria.
As Deering Maygays base hit to center, Bradford is coming across, and we have a tie ball game here in East Peoria. Nice piece of hitting as the Falcons' third baseman stays hot in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Falcons will not go down easy. They won't.
Now runners on the corners with Fletcher at third for Luke Ketchum. Not a player you want to face in this situation with 18 RBIs coming into today. That was tied for the most in the Peoria Sunday Morning League this year. Hit 21 RBIs 21 home runs, during his college career at the University of St. Francis.
Yeah, Ketchum, a guy who still lives up in Joliet. He drives an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes to get here to play.
Wow.
He's one of the most dedicated players and one of the best players in the league.
It's crazy because I believe that every time that at least I've seen Miller Lite with my own two eyes, we've broadcasted our games, I believe, dating back to last year, I think Ketchum has been there every single game. He's not a guy that is, I'll be there for half the games or only be there on Sundays. He is here all the time.
He's a Miller Lite staple and a guy that's very dedicated and he strikes out here, but he's going to come up big later. You can feel it.
So Ponce gives up a run, but strikes out 2. He's got 7 Ks now on the night. And we're all knotted up at 1 here. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd. And real quick, want to thank our sponsors for tonight. BodyArmor, the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League. And Miller Lite and Baumgarten Distributing, as well as Crusens. And our team sponsors, want to thank them, as well as all the other sponsors involved. Sunday Morning League, including the team sponsors like Brenzo's, the Move Smart Realty Group, Firehouse Pizza, Tin Lizard Bar and Grill, Poor Brothers Tap Room, and I believe I got almost everybody. Nevertheless, definitely encourage you to patronize those businesses in the Peoria area. As we'll see Noah Funk for the first time bat for Crusens. Then it's back to the top of the order with Peyton Hankins and Travis Grant.
Noah Funk, excited to watch him bat. He's a spark plug for this Crusens team, and I think he's 4 or 5 year veteran. Lincoln, he's in Lincoln. I can't remember their mascot.
Rail Splitters.
Rail Splitters.
Yeah,
I knew it was something crazy.
Oh yeah, how about the programs that Lincoln had this past year, especially on the
girls
on
basketball.
the girls side? Yeah, boy,
Holy
Chloe Froby was
best girls basketball player of all time in Illinois.
Well, yeah, she's definitely in the conversation. She was absolutely insane. Their volleyball team, I believe, got 2nd in the entire state, and again, one of their athletes, Becca Heitzig, also one of the top cross-country runners in the state as well. And then their football team also broke a big playoff drought too. So good things happening down in Lincoln.
Yeah. So Noah Funk's a guy that drives a little bit too. There's guys that it's not just Peoria. This league is not just Peoria. It's all over. It's how guys will drive to play just to get this competitiveness. Yep.
Nice line drive single there from Funk. Went between the legs of Seaton. Almost lined it right off of his shin, but thankfully for Seaton's case, it avoids him and grazes nothing more than a pant leg.
I'm going to hand it back over to you. After this one, I'll hand it back over.
Now we're back to the top of the order now, and Peyton Hankins. It's 2 for 3 with an RBI on Monday.
Carl Sandberg kid, good left-handed hitter, great outfielder. He's paired with Travis Grant in the outfield. That's pretty good outfield.
Pretty speedy one as well. Hankins made a nice catch back when we saw him on Monday as Seaton deals a strike in there. Now ahead 0-2. Grant is on deck, and the ever-dangerous Logan Van Hooklen is in the hole. It's good contact there. Popped up. Ketchum, a semi-long run, but puts it away.
Ketchum there, dealing with the lights a little bit here at Eastside. But, John, I'm going to thank you for my time here. I'm going to hand it back over to Ethan. Thank you guys are doing such a great job. And excited for the rest of this game to play out.
Well, certainly, Zach, we appreciate having you in the booth as well. Again, Zach Schulte, folks, the president of the Sunday Morning League, wrapping up his first season in that position, but many more years of leadership as well, and also the manager and still a player, too, for the Poor Bros Jack. Zach Schulte does it all, so I want to thank him for stopping in the booth, and if it wasn't for him and Tim Cundiff, who's actually obviously still a player on the Miller Lite Falcons, we probably wouldn't be here. They're obviously huge in getting us set up, broadcasting, which we've had lots of fun doing these past 2 summers. They bring Ethan Carboni now back into the booth as, Ethan, obviously we saw the Falcons strike for a run. This game has kind of that feel that it's going to come down to maybe the last inning or 2.
For sure it does. It's not every day when you watch a baseball game that it has that feel either, because like last game, 9-0 after 2, and that's at the point where you have people start scrolling on their phones if you're at, say, Busch Stadium or any Cardinals game. But
as here's Travis Grant, swing and a miss there. That'll make it 2-2. Obviously, again, kind of have to, that's when you, as you're kind of let you behind the scenes of broadcasting, you're kind of getting your blowout material, as what they call it. Obviously, you still want to talk about the game, especially if there's good plays coming on. Want to make sure that you still know who's batting. As Grant strikes out there, nice pitch from Seton. But it's also, that's where you talk about, just things like crazy minor league baseball team names. So, I'll give a quick moment. I'll give you the opportunity to throw out one of your favorite or wackiest minor league baseball team name that we haven't said yet.
Did you guys do the Biscuits yet?
No, we haven't said the Montgomery Biscuits. That's a great one. And also a great logo as well.
I think I played with them for my MLB The Show Road to the Show player this year.
The AA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. They've been that way for a long time. Oh, Josh Messenger, our camera operator, Philadelphia Phillies fan, fittingly says the AAA affiliate for them, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Here's one more, just a real quick one. Pretty unique, the Visalia Rawhide.
Where's that at?
California.
That makes more sense now.
As Van Hooklen looks at the ball here, getting back to the action here in East Peoria, not California. Van Hooklen, who doubled his first time up and eventually was left stranded back in the first, but draws a walk there, and now all of a sudden the Reds have 2 runners on base and 1 out. Potential opportunity here to maybe bring in a run for Jason Clark. He already has 1 to his name today.
And Clark's the best average hitter on this team with the exception of Hankins for the Reds. So he's going to look to increase that average and hopefully drive in a run.
Yeah, him, Funk, and Hankins were also Jordan Ball too. Although he's been in more limited plate appearances. They've all hit over 300 for Crusens this year. Clark looks at a breaking ball at just a few centimeters above the turf. Action pretty much all quiet here at the Eastside Center except for what you see right here in front of us at the turf field. Here a couple of youngsters maybe get some batting practice in one of the faraway cages, but all eyes are on the turf as playoff roll on here at the Sunday Morning League. That one fouled out of play. Again, in case you're just tuning in to set the scene, Crusens beat Miller Lite back on Monday in the second round game. So if they win, they will be 3-0 in the playoffs and punch their ticket to the best of 3 championship series. Miller Lite needs a win today and a win tomorrow to get back there. That one outside there from Seton. Clark showing a pretty patient approach here.
And if you're Bryce Seton here, you're trying to figure out how to get the second out, whether it be a ground out, fly out. You just do not want the runners to advance. With it being a tie game here in the middle.
And he throw on the first. It's a high throw, but Ulrich brings it in. Nearly could have been disaster for the Falcons if that ball gets over his glove. Now 3-1. We'll see if Clark has the green light, and instead he gets fed a ball, so now the bases are juiced. Seton's second walk, and in back-to-back fashion now Reed Stufflebeam as the bases stuffed for him. Big chance here for the Reds, and it looks like the Falcons will talk a few things over. Not quite sure if they're making a pitching change. It looked like their manager, Lance Herlico, is looking towards their bullpen, but I don't see anyone warming up right now, and it does appear that Seton will stay in the game, and I can't imagine why he wouldn't. Still pretty early on in this one.
Yes, it is, and you got to expect here that he's just telling them stay calm, get the outs. You're only 2 away. That's one bad ground ball to the shortstop or second baseman.
Campbell over at short, Fletcher at second, playing at double play depth to no surprise. Seffelbeam struck out his first time up. Walked and scored against the Falcons on Monday. Looks at his strike there, and I think the mountain visit maybe paid off.
For sure, you can see Seton looks a lot calmer up there now, despite having the bases loaded.
The dangerous Keegan Busby's on deck, so Bakai loses it for a second but regains it. Enough time to keep Funk over there at third. Funk pretty speedy, has a team-high 8 stolen bases. The margin for error for Bakai behind the plate right now is slim, but he has played pretty flawless defensively tonight so far. Seton gives Funk a look and fires. On the inside corner at knee height. That was almost perfect location there. And Silverbeam put the bat to the ball there. It wouldn't be much he could have done.
No, it wouldn't. And if you're Seton, you want that exact same pitch here. Just try and get him swinging, jammed right to the first baseman.
1-2 is high.
High and outside there. Does the exact opposite of the prior pitch.
Just giving him something to chase, I think Seton was. See how greedy Stuffelbeam is. And Funk at third, Van Hooklen at second, Clark at first. For the Reds, looking to get back on top. That one pops straight back and out of play. Stuffelbeam is a alumnus of Galesburg High School, the Silver Streaks, and that kind of runs through this Reds team. A lot of players from Carl Sandburg, Peyton Hankins, and alum of nearby Knoxville High School. Here's the 2-2 on the outside corner. The Falcons dugout certainly thought that was strike 3.
It looked like Stuffelbeam did there too.
He kind of stood up and groaned. Maybe he was too influenced by the Falcons' cheers rather than the umpire's call himself. So full count. Runners are going, and this one is hit to center. This may be deep enough to score a run. Back on is Bradford. He brings it in. And also does Stuffelbeam with the run, so the Reds go back on top 2-1. Not what Stuffelbeam maybe was his first option, but one that the Reds will take nonetheless. Or rather, no, excuse me, that was silly me. That was the third out of the inning. I don't know what I was thinking there, so Stuffelbeam ends the inning there. I have to do a better job of looking at my score sheet, which I have right in front of me. It would help if I would use my own eyes.
It happens.
Now we go on to the top of the fourth. Still all tied here at 3, or at 1 apiece, I should say. Boy, it has been a long night of broadcasting, Ethan. I think you can probably tell that already. Again, glad to be here for a doubleheader, though. Sunday Morning League playoff baseball. This will be our final Sunday Morning League broadcast of the season. After that, it'll be all eyes on high school football season, Ethan. Really looking forward to that. Should be more fun times ahead.
Me too. I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying Washington's a top 20 team heading into the year in the entire state.
Where have you heard that they're a top 20? I don't know many people that rank the top 20. Obviously, there's the weekly top 10, but
just random people on social media are putting them up there, and I'm wondering because these are Chicago accounts who I didn't think they knew anything south of Joliet.
Certainly is that Chicago bias with many of those outlets and social media accounts up there, but Washington, I think may surprise some people. If you knew them last year, obviously a very senior-heavy team, but they have lots of sophomores and juniors that were very good for them last year that just didn't quite get the maybe as much playing time as their senior counterparts did. So I think they'll still be good. We actually just put out literally 2 hours ago our season preview of the Metamora Redbirds. They look very strong this year. We've also got about 6 or 7, maybe 8 other previews out there too. We'll have them for every about 30, 31 teams in the area and about one per day leading up until the start of the season on August 30th. And as for where our first broadcast is going to be, it's still to be revealed yet, but stay tuned to our social media accounts, Clutch Sports Media on Instagram and Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. Also can gear up for the season by subscribing to CSM Overtime, the home of all of our written content and photo galleries and more. Lots of content coming there, and this one is hit a long way by Sosnowski, back to the left field wall and caught by Grant.
That's that warning track power I'm very familiar with as a Cubs fan.
Number 34, Chase Ulrich.
Well, it's tough if you're a Cubs player for balls in that area because you get those down the left and right field lines. You get that area that's kind of sitting further back a little bit. It's the unique dimensions of Wrigley Field.
Yes, it is. Although it's still nice to see. I went to Wrigley on Friday, actually. I got to see the quality game Javier Assad in the bullpen pitched against the Cardinals.
There you go. As Chase Ulrich draws the walk there, or drew walk his first time up. And he's got a very good eye. Hit .264 with 6 home runs in his 2 years at Eureka. That meaning Eureka College, not Eureka High School. Easy to get the two mixed up as he looks at the ball outside there. A lot more contact we've seen the second time through the order for the Falcons. You look the first time through, lots of Ks, but the second time through, a lot more balls in play, whether it be via singles or flyouts. Ponce, though, still pitching very well with 7 Ks. Here's a tough grounder over to the second baseman, and he makes the play. Caden Spencer over there at the Keystone position.
Now batting the catcher, number 11, Cole Bakai.
And Bakai comes up. He was, as you mentioned earlier, 0 for 4, but with 2 runs on Tuesday.
Hey, it's all find ways to get on base. Bakai was, that one slammed to right, but fouling out of play. Definitely had potential to be a extra base hit or possibly a home run if it stayed fair. Bakai is a graduate of Midwest Central High School, a little bit south here of the Peoria area, and he's got a teammate here on the Falcons that went to their rival school. Charlie Hodges went to Delavan. Bakai pops this one up. This one may stay fair. First baseman Stufflebeam over to make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3, top of the fourth, I should say. As you look at Stufflebeam running back into the dugout there, Andrew Ponce is looking very, very strong still.
Yes, he is, and with Seaton coming out after getting out of a scary bases loaded situation there in the third, looks to come back up to the mound, and he will continue pitching in the 4th inning.
And, Seaton's helped them get this far. He's 2-1 with a 2.55 ERA. And so, again, these were stats coming into tonight's game, so not fully updated, but I think that ERA is probably a little bit lower now. And he's also got 26 strikeouts this season to go at 10 walks, so no reason to mess with success here. If both these teams were to go in their bullpen, the Falcons, you're maybe looking at possibly Cam Scott. He has, I don't think he's pitched that Sunday at the least. Caden Rixner is also an option. He's through 10 1/3 this year, has not pitched in the playoffs. Again, your aces are Clay McConkey and David Ellis, who have put up ridiculous video game-like numbers again this year, but they both pitched in the last 2 days respectively, so I think they're probably off the table unless it's maybe for just an inning or so.
It is the last game of the season if they lose, so if you're really trying to push it, that's when you push it.
Certainly. Again, tomorrow is not guaranteed, at least for the Falcons. Crusens, they know, though, that this won't be their last game of the season, even if they do lose, but should be a good finish here in store. These two teams have been pretty similar so far. Crusens, 3 hits to show, 2 singles and a double. And Miller Lite, they also have 3 hits as well. So I don't believe either team has committed an error so far. So identical 1-3-0 on the score lines for both teams as Busby looks at the ball down in the turf.
And Busby also nearly hitting 300 here for this Reds team.
Got 2 home runs and 10 RBIs on the year. Again, with in case they say, okay, that sounds good, but not great. For the Sunday Morning League, again, a team that uses wood bats, unlike metal bats used in college and high school level, which are obviously favor hitters a bit more, and also the fact that it's only a 22-game season. Those are pretty respectable numbers. And as, again, Zach Schulte said earlier in the Rookie of the Year conversation, he's also got 6 stolen bases this year. That's number 2 on the team. And he looks at a strike there from Seaton. Needed to come in with that one to avoid the 4-pitch walk. (3-1) popped up right side. And it goes into the outfield. Sosnowski's got an eye on it and makes the catch.
And you could see he was annoyed with himself after that one. Threw the bat with anger and jogged out to first in case of the error, but still has one more at bat potentially.
Hopefully we don't end up in the bat in the dugout. We nearly saw that in the last game. I want to say, wasn't the Royals' day. And it's 3 teams left. The champion will be either the Crusens Reds, the Miller Lite Falcons, or the Poor Bros Jacks. So it's been a kind of a frantic 4 days or so of playoff action. Started on Sunday. Multiple games every day since then. But, slowly one by one, teams are falling out of contention, and the top 3 remain. So here's Jack Barham, who is the Reds, one of their pitching aces alongside Ponce. 1.3 ERA and 4 complete games this season. Hasn't hit quite as much this year. Man watches a ball.
4 complete games this season would be number 1 in the MLB, I believe.
Yeah, I think you would probably be correct. And, I feel like I'm, far too young to, make what they call potentially boomer complaints. But I do wish that starting pitchers went deeper than they used to. When I was growing up, following baseball in 2007, 2008, around that area, you still saw some pitchers, still go on average
7 to 8,
5. I mean, not that far, but I'd say usually at least about 6 or so. As Barham gets frozen there by a Seaton fastball for his 4th strikeout. I still remember when most pitchers you could go 6 or 7 innings and it'd be pretty average. Now you go 5 good innings and you're like, all right, well, hey, your job's done. Pretty good day. And it's a lot more reliance on the bullpen now.
You got to wonder, for the Baseball Hall of Fame, how do you start considering pitchers of the modern day? Because you're not seeing pitchers that won 300 games anymore because, well, they might not get to the point where they can have an earned win or loss in 300 games.
Exactly. Well, nowadays, though, there are, some things to combat that. Sabermetrics, all those advanced stats. You can look at so many other things. Wins, obviously, a big part of it. That's the most important thing in baseball. But if you want to look at, different metrics and kind of maybe even the playing field a little bit, depending whether you played, maybe had a 10-year career or a 15-year career, kind of put those guys on a level playing field. Ulrich, nice flip over to Seaton at first. He was hustling over there to cover first. So we are now down to essentially a 3-inning game. All tied up here at 1.
Feels like when I used to play backyard baseball on my DS. I had a 15-minute car ride. Only 3 innings is the setting.
So we've played 4, and nothing has been decided yet here between the Reds and the Falcons. Both teams that have won a couple of Tommy trophies here in the Sunday Morning League, the oldest amateur baseball league in America. History is very proud, and definitely getting. If you have a chance, go check out their website. They have all sorts of great history there. They have a stats keeper that is, pretty much kept track of all stats ever since the very start of the league. They have all-time statistical leaderboards. They have a Hall of Fame. They have all the stats and standings and everything from this past year as well. And there's all sorts of goodies there, so definitely go check that out again. A league that is very proud of its history, and we're proud and excited to be part of it as well.
And speaking of things that have a history, John, the Olympics are going on. Have you been watching and keeping up with that?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, Ethan, I gotta say I've been really upset about it. I have not been watching them a ton just because there have been lots of things going on to hear it behind the scenes at Clutch Sports Media. Last week we had obviously the Peoria City National Championship game in USL League 2 that we broadcasted, and that broadcast took many, many days of planning and many hours of video shooting and editing. Had lots of pre-recorded elements to that show that all had to get put together and everything. And a huge shout out to our crew that were able to do that. And that was really a very fun experience in our first year broadcasting Peoria City, and really had a blast doing that this summer. And crazy to see that the team got so far. But we had that last week, and this week we've obviously been hitting the football previews hard the last 2 weeks as well. So been working on those. We've had Sunday Morning League broadcasts 3 out of the 4 nights so far this week. So I really haven't been able to keep up that much, but I'm hoping to watch a bit more later on. What about you?
I've been watching a good bit. It's been fun. You got to see the swimming team beat Australia in total medals and gold, so that's always good to see the Aussies lose.
Especially in swimming. I didn't appreciate that video that one swimmer was talking about earlier about how annoyed she was about the Americans winning. So it definitely is that rivalry there. There's a hard line out there from Brian Quinn, his second straight hard hit out.
And then also, track and field's just started, but Noah Lyles winning the 100.
What a race.
We saw the U.S. win both the 400 and the 1500.
Yeah, and Cole Hawker as well. Again, I've been seeing a lot of the highlights. I just haven't been watching a lot of it live. What's kind of a, put you on the spot here, Ethan, what's kind of an Olympic sport that kind of one of those more obscure ones, not as popular, but one that you really enjoy to watch?
So going to winter curling. Curling's the best Olympic sport.
Curling's fun. Yep. Used to not like it, but now I do.
It's just so peaceful. It's like golf, but better.
What about the summer?
I'm going to go with women's gymnastics just because of how dominant we've seen the U.S. being.
That's true. I'd say it's, in terms of Olympic sports, one of the more popular ones. That one grounded to the left side. Clark up with it. And a hustling Bradford nearly beat out the throw. But Clark fired a bullet over there to first and got him for the second straight out of the inning. Ponce very quietly has retired 6 batters in a row. I'd say one of my favorite is handball. I think handball is really fun. And I think many Americans share my sentiment of I don't know how it's more popular here because it looks very fun.
We toss all of our athletes on the basketball court or the gridiron.
That's true. Need to watch some basketball and try to watch some golf. Those are my probably 2 favorite sports to watch. As breaking ball comes in against Noah Campbell, who went 1 for 3 against Crusens on Monday. Maybe in 4 years from now we'll have athletes from the Sunday Morning League do some Olympic events. Well, the Sunday Morning League Olympics. We'll report to Zach Schulte about that. See what he says. Campbell pops this one straight up. Just a question of who's got it. And it's the shortstop Funk. And that is 2 straight 1-2-3 innings for Andrew Ponce and the Reds, who have allowed so far just 1 run in their last 12 playoff innings, potentially even more. So runs at a premium. Real quick, want to thank our great sponsors that help make tonight's broadcast possible. BodyArmor, the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League and the Peoria Sunday Morning League Game of the Week, of which we've had, multiple this week on Clutch Sports Media, as well as Miller Lite and Baumgarten Distributing, which is located right here in Peoria. They're proud to be a supplier of Miller Lite as well as Crusens. Maybe that's where you get your Miller Lite. 3 area locations: Farmington Road in Peoria, War Memorial in Peoria, and Route 29 in Creve Coeur, in between East Peoria and Pekin. I want to thank them for their support to help keep the Sunday Morning League going. And it looks like we may have a new pitcher. I was about to say that Bryce is going to keep going as well, but it's David Smith, reliever for the Falcons, coming in. It hasn't pitched a ton this year, but leads the league in a very big category.
That would be the saves. 3 saves on the year, which, if you look at MLB, might be about 50 less than the league leader, but with only playing 22 games in a regular season, David Smith has been very key to the success of the Miller Lite Falcons.
Yeah, he's been a very good reliever for them this year, so he'll be tasked with, first off, facing Noah Funk, Aiden Hankins, and Travis Grant, the 9-1 and 2 hitters. Definitely not a stretch you want to face, because Noah Funk, again, especially given he went 2 for 3 on Monday, he isn't really your prototypical number 9-hole hitter. He's really a wraparound guy that kind of fits more as a leadoff batter, but really kind of helps set the table for those other guys like Hankins and Grant.
And we saw earlier today, he got a nice hard hit ball. So he looks to go up there and do it again, this time against the different pitcher in David Smith.
Again, you don't see many 9-hole hitters hitting 300 like Funk is, so it's really almost kind of feels like you're facing the 1-2-3 hitters for the Reds. And if it does get that far, you got Logan Van Hooklen, who, again, not a player you want to face as of late especially.
Now batting the shortstop, number 0.
Especially, again, now we want to get in the later innings, Ethan. It's going to be especially key just to get runners on early in the inning and maybe play some small ball. We'll see if we'll see any bunts laid down if runners do reach base. I'd be curious to see.
That's a strategy I don't think we've seen here in at least today, because last game they didn't need it as much. And in this one, tie ball game, it was early. Now getting into the later half of the game, gotta do what you can to score.
Part of the reason we haven't seen is, one thing is you need base runners, and neither team has really allowed that many. Again, in case you're just tuning in, Crusens 3 hits on the day. They've drawn 2 walks. And Miller Lite, they've had 3 hits on the day while drawing 1 walk.
And Ponce has doubled his walk total on the season just by those 2 walks. Call it the Jonathan Michael curse.
Well, no, yeah. Well, no, he's allowed 1 walk to Miller Lite, so he's upped it by 50%, up to 3 now. But still, again, very, very good ratio this year. Funk facing the 2-1. Nice pitch there from Smith on the high outside corner. Two and 2. Here to the Reds shortstop. Make that now 3 and 2. Falcons defense playing pretty much straight on. Not sure if it's explicitly banned or not in the Sunday Morning League rule book again. I don't know if we have access to that, but I don't really see many shifts in the Sunday Morning League as Funk draws that leadoff walk. We'll see what he can do on the base paths now.
And with a team-high 8 stolen bases coming into this game, you got to think he's going to try and will himself into scoring position.
Now this is where a point where if you're Miller Lite, focus really arguably shifts on to Cole Bakai, the Falcons catcher, as we go back to the top of the order with Hankins. And there's a high pitch there from Smith, and I know the reason why there. He wanted to get Bakai out of the crouch in case Funk was running. He was in good position. See if he goes with another high pitch, and that's where Bakai seems to be set up, and a swing and a miss there from Hankins.
And you can look on the base path. Funk's trying to throw off the catcher and pitcher here. Made a fake jump there. He wants it.
A little bit of a lead, but he's not going. Hankins looks at another strike there. He is tied with Frank Kelch and Logan Van Hookland for number 1 on their team with 5 doubles. Interesting enough, Ethan, Kelch, he is the reigning league MVP, has not been in the lineup in the last couple games for the Reds. So that's a big player that they've been without. They also play without Busby the other day as well.
Do you know why that is? Or they're just giving everyone some time?
I don't know. Again, we didn't know if it was a fact they just couldn't make it to the game or an injury or what. But the Reds are getting it done even without some of their best players. Jordan Ball, too, hasn't played in 2 most recent games. He's hitting .316 this year with a couple doubles, couple RBIs. So he's a big omission in that lineup that, again, hasn't really affected the Reds too much. Hankins looks at a ball low and inside there. Now even at 2-2. Haven't seen him square a bunt. I'm partially surprised by that.
I am too, but with 2 strikes here, we can't expect them to.
Definitely the case. Here's Smith coming in. That one also fought off. So a nice at-bat being put together by Hankins. He's been tenacious. As the Falcons will get a new ball. Caden Rixner tosses one back out to Cole Bakai. Neither team has made many mistakes in this game, and I think that's a big reason why it's been tied. We've seen in some previous games this week that 1 or 2 mistakes can easily be compounded, and just like that, you're facing a big deficit. But this has been very clean, very fundamental baseball, and just overall high level.
Indeed it has, and just keeping an eye on first base, we're seeing Funk take a slightly smaller lead than he was before.
Big strikeout there from the reliever, David Smith. They get one down and set up the inning-ending double play possibility for the bearded Travis Grant. How about him, Ethan? He's got quite the growth of hair underneath his chin.
Indeed he does. It's playoff time, so we got to grow it out, right?
I believe that Grant has had that beard for quite a while, but I'm sure he doesn't want to shave it now. This one has popped up. This one's going to be close. Well, Bakayev he had space to make it, but he overran it, ran into the wall, the brick wall here, and it just fell a foot or 2 behind him, but can't fault him for giving him the effort there.
No, you cannot. And like you said, barely overran it. But
would have been a fantastic catch if he could bring it in. But instead it will be 0-1 here to Grant. Funk still not leading off too terribly much. Reds electing not to risk it too much. And they're managed by Chris Maurerman, alum of ICC in his 3rd season. Swing and a miss from Grant, his 2nd strikeout. Also the 2nd for Smith as well. And again, now the Falcons are really starting to find their groove on the mound.
And with 2 outs here, you got to think that this would be the time that if you were to send Funk early in the count, this would be the time.
It's now been 11 batters since the Reds recorded a hit. So after having a couple in the early going, including 2 in the first 3 at-bats, it looked like Crusens was going to maybe blow it open early, but good recovery, too, by the Falcons, just limiting the damage to 1, and nothing since then as Van Hookland comes in with a double and a walk to his name. It just missed the outside corner, though. That looked pretty good there from Smith. Didn't miss by much.
He's had a few good pitches this at-bat and this inning overall.
Throw back, keep Funk honest. Now here comes the 1-0. Almost eerily quiet here at the Eastside Center. You can hear the Faint chirp of some bugs. I believe those are some, excuse me, I believe either cicadas or mosquitoes. I didn't really study up as much on my summertime bugs too much, but I am glad that original wave of cicadas is gone because that was something else back in May.
You know, as long as it's not the wave that was here last time me and you were out here for a game that we saw after we went to get dinner after at Culver's.
Oh, yeah, those were a bunch of mayflies that we saw. There were literally, I would almost say millions of them down near the East Peoria riverfront. That was an interesting sight. But Van Hooklen, he'll draw his second walk of the game. He just continues to be an on-base machine, so the Reds could just get him up to bat as much as possible. It would bode well for them. If they can continue this run, there certainly can make the case that he could possibly be a playoff MVP for them. As now here comes Jason Clark, cleanup batter. We'll see if he can do his job. He's got 2 runners on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. This one is lined to the right side and brought in by Fletcher. Looked like it was going to be a line drive at first, but the ball just died out. And the Reds will have to head back in the dugout with another 0 on the scoreboard.
That's not a feeling you want to have, leaving 2 runners on base there, with both of them not even being granted a hit. Those were 2 walks. So the Reds have to come out here and play some defense, get some quality pitching, whether that be Ponce or someone else on the mound.
The Reds have left a couple bit more opportunities on the table than the Falcons have. They had the bases loaded back in the 3rd, and there they leave 2 on base. So they've had some opportunities that have passed them by. So see if the Falcons can maybe take advantage of that a bit more. And in these playoff games, you can't pass up opportunities like that, especially against a good team like the Falcons. So sure, they're probably kicking themselves a little bit.
And Ponce is back on the mound, so
that's good news for the Reds. And struck out 2 in the 1st inning, struck out all 3 in the 2nd, struck out 2 in the 3rd, but since then has not struck out anybody. So perhaps the Falcons figured him out a bit. And they'll have the benefit of their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up in Fletcher, Deering, and Ketchum. We'll see who can break through.
it'll be interesting to see if Ponce is going to be able to get through the full game, because I believe that would be his first complete game of the year, unless I'm mistaken, John.
We'll double check. I wouldn't find it hard to believe that he does have one already, but look at his pitch count. Ponce is at 81. 51 of them have been strikes. For comparison, Seaton threw 72 pitches tonight. 36 of them were strikes. And his final line, for those wondering, he had 4 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So overall, pretty good. He is not going to get the decision tonight. It is in the Falcons bullpen. And for the Reds, it's still on the shoulders of Ponce. Fletcher 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout and a walk. Again, league leader in batting average and has 5 steals. So maybe if the Falcons again get a guy on base, maybe they start to say, hey, we're rounding out of the 6. We're running out of chances, at least before extras come around, to be aggressive. So maybe we'll see if they send him if he does reach.
And again, with him already having 5 stolen bases this year, being the league leader in average, yeah, I expect that he wants to grab at least another base or 2.
Interesting fact, though, the Falcons don't steal hardly any bases. As a team, they only have 15, which, you look at some of the other players in the league, that's less than some individual players even have. as we umpire stopped the game because someone's headlights were on beyond the right field fence. Or somewhere on there. And obviously, you know, the way those are angled, probably right in the vision line of Fletcher up at bat. So not your everyday stoppage.
No, not at all. And then you have some stadiums that will have the blinking signs that are right in front of the players. Not out here.
It's a little bit different here in amateur baseball. Fletcher fouls that one straight back.
Almost hit the mic with that one.
We had a couple close calls. Our mic, if it had a face, if it could show emotion, it'd probably be trembling in fear because it is been put in harm's way. This one hit well by Fletcher to center. Hank is giving it a run, and he makes the catch.
And that ball just didn't die soon enough for Fletcher there.
Needed to have a little bit lower of a launch angle there. Maybe would have come back and hit the turf sooner. So I'll bring up Colin Deering, who's 1 for 2 and has the Falcons' lone RBI tonight. That was on a single that scored Peyton Bradford back in the third.
It's certainly been a pitcher's duel tonight. Both of the starters played exceptionally well, and then we saw last inning with David Smith coming in.
You know, but before this game, Ethan, on the car ride over here, I was, you know, just for fun, trying to entertain myself on the drive over. I was trying to predict what we would expect tonight, and I was thinking that we'd probably see a pretty good scoring output from Poor Bros. I didn't really have any final scores or winner and loser in mind, but I felt like the Jacks would have a good day hitting the ball, which they did, as Deering draws the 4-pitch walk. And I also felt like we would see a really close pitcher's duel here in this game. And I promise, I'm not kidding. That's what I was thinking before coming into this one. And I think many players in the league probably would have thought the same thing, given how strong both these teams are on the mound. So after the free pass to Deering, and only Ponce's 4th walk of the season, here comes Luke Ketchum, who struck out twice here today. See if the Joliet native can make his drive back home tonight maybe a little bit sweeter.
From experience, it's certainly not fun driving on the lonely highways of Central Illinois late at night. As I'm sure you know, driving up to Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, no, I've had lots of late drives on I-39 back home to Milwaukee, and some late ones coming back from playoff basketball games in Pontiac or LaSalle, Peru, or Champaign for the state finals. I'll have a big one, probably one of the longest ones that I've had in my life so far, at least in single day, coming up tomorrow. I'm headed out to Denver, Colorado. I know, doing the full drive in one day tomorrow. So should be a lot of fun, but the scenery of Nebraska and Iowa probably will not be quite as fun.
I'm sure. It's not like many people enjoy driving through Nebraska. Not much to do there, including football.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, that one is hit deep to left. This could be gone, but no, it's caught by Grant. Many people here in the stadium thought it would carry over, but instead it's a loud fly out there from Luke Ketchum. Now 2 outs and 1 on base. It'll be Ethan Sosnowski, former East Peoria Raider. And the reason that Ethan said not much to do, including football, is I don't know if he actually truly believes that. I think he just wanted a reaction out of our producer, Patrick Huber, who will be going to University of Nebraska this coming year and is a very big Huskers fan, especially for their football team. So whether or not my partner actually believes that the Huskers football is nothing to do, I don't know or not. I personally think that it's not awful, could be worse, but also could be better too. I'll just leave it at that.
Could be Vanderbilt.
You could. Could be a lot worse. Could be Northwestern as well.
Very true, very true.
Sosnowski looks at a ball there. Big swing and a miss there from the Falcons right fielder. Now down in the count. Or now, I should say ahead 2-1. Pardon the error. That one high and outside, so. And this is probably the least control that Ponce has seen, but that's, again, not really saying much. In danger of a walk here. This one is popped up and kind of a weird play, a weird bounce. Sosnowski might beat this up behind the back. Spencer.
To third.
And it goes behind the first baseman, Stuffleby. Spencer trying to make the play of the year at second. A great effort, but just could not. And what a weird ball there. Just died on the green part of the turf. And how about you see the spin that it took as well?
That's because the turf field.
So Sosnowski reaches first. Deering is now on third. Ulrich has a chance to drive in the go-ahead run. He's got 4 ribbies this year. And looks at one high. The run here could potentially give the Falcons more life in the 2024 Sunday Morning League playoffs. As Ponce throws back to first. Definitely want to make sure that those throws are accurate now, because you got a runner on third. Any ball that squirts by or reaches the fence is probably going to result in a guaranteed run.
And you can't really afford to give up that this late in the game when it's tied.
Chances, there's not much left of them. This one, though, is popped up to right. Lined up by Busby, and the catch is made for out number 3. So for however many half innings in a row, it's been a lot. Runners reach base, but none of them come on home, and that just really is the theme of tonight's game, is neither team has been able to take advantage of getting those runners on base. A stark contrast to the game that we saw before today's. I should say before tonight's, the first game of the doubleheader.
And now we look as the Reds have to come up to bat in hopes that David Smith won't have his stuff today after last innings, 2 strikeouts from him.
So do it for the Reds here in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Stufflebeam, Busby, and Barham, the 5, 6, 7 hitters. They're combined 0 for 6 tonight. So we'll see if they can flip the script. And again, big advantage here to the Reds. If you score, all you need is 3 more outs, and the ball game is over, and you're onto the championship series. If you're the Falcons, obviously, and you score, well, I guess you still obviously need 3 more outs to win the game as well. But Crusens could potentially give them only 1 more opportunity to score. Have not seen a hit by either team, I believe, since the 3rd inning. Actually, no. Well, there was that single there from Sosnowski. Didn't really cross my mind much as a hit because it was in the infield, but it was officially, obviously, one. But other than that, that has been the only hit by either team since the 3rd.
And 7 total hits in the game. Sounds an awful like pre-1920s baseball.
Where's Babe Ruth? Is his ghost hanging around the Eastside Center? We'll have to call out those ghost hunters you see on like the National Geographic or the Discovery Channel or something. See if he's ever stopped by for them Sunday Morning League baseball. And you know what? Given this league's history, I'd be surprised if you had it. So Smith back out on the bump for his 3rd inning. This one pops nearly straight up, and this one looks like it may get out. No, it stays in play, and Deering makes the catch with no real estate to work with.
And we saw there, Ethan Krutke had to get out of the way there. He was standing outside the dugout. Had to maneuver out of the track of the ball.
Rather, no, that was 32 on the Reds, which is not Ethan Krutke. I believe that's their manager, Chris Bowerman. 32 on the Falcons, though, would be Ethan Krutke, who started at catcher on Monday. So with one out, here comes Busby. What a time it could be here for his third home run of the year.
And what a pitch there by David Smith. Had the perfect amount of spin, got right to the bottom corner for a swing and a miss.
Late kick and the fire, and that one's low for a ball. So looking ahead to the top of the seventh, we will see Bakai, Quinn, and Bradford. 8-9 one-hitters for the Falcons. 2-2 here to Busby. See if Smith can finish this at bat. That one, fastball just ran a bit high. And Jack Barham on deck, 3 for 18 this season, so perhaps could be an unlikely hero. And what do you know, another base runner. We'll see what the Reds can do with it, though. I will say, again, we've talked about both teams not being able to take advantage of runners on base, but give credit to these pitchers, too. They have really rebounded, both of them have, from giving up some walks here today. It seems like after every walk, the next batter or two are usually outs.
When you gotta wonder here if the Reds are gonna send the guy on first, just to get him right in scoring position. As you said, play some small ball, get some bunts going.
And Busby's got 6 steals this year. Keep a close eye on him. He will not go. Big swing and a miss there from Barham. Evens the count. Now, Reds are overall fairly aggressive as a team, stealing bases. And again, big lead off there from Busby, but he didn't go. Reds not trying to chance anything, especially with a good defender in Cole Bakai behind the plate. This one popped up foul. Now we'll be even again at 2 apiece. Big pitch incoming here to the Reds' designated hitter. That one, he's staying alive and making Smith work for it. Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of innings out of Smith this year. Got to wonder if the Reds can get his pitch count up and have some long at-bats. How long will Smith stay in the game? 2-2, just a bit high.
Then you gotta wonder who would come in after Smith.
And I think we're probably looking at Cam Scott or maybe Rickster. Maybe again you're looking at just getting an inning or so out of McConkey and Ellis just to potentially get a likely 0. This one is popped up. This one is turning foul, and it just bounces out of play on top of the Falcons' dugout, actually. Would have been a tough break for the Reds if that one would have stayed in play, too. That would have made it 2 very close pop-ups that could have been foul balls, but instead were out. But Barham lives to see another day.
We're seeing Barham battle here. He's taking some good pitches. He's, as we just saw, fouling that one off.
Regardless of the result, I think he and his team will be proud of his showing here. And strike 3, Barham doesn't agree with it. He thought it was low. And that's Barham's 3rd strikeout today, so he's got the hat trick, and he's still conversating with the ump a little bit. Not happy at all with that call.
Now batting second baseman number 27, Caden Spencer.
And now instead of having runners on first and second with 1 out, just 1 runner on at first with 2 outs for Caden Spencer. Player Carl Sandberg grounds it over to the first baseman Ulrich, and a nice nifty grab. Steps on the base, and we are on to the 7th. Still tied at 1 here between the Miller Lite Falcons and the Crusens Reds. It's turning out to be a dandy of a game. Who is going to blink first? Not much room for error now here in the late stages. Real quick, want to thank our sponsors that help make tonight's broadcast possible. Another word for them, BodyArmor, the official sports drink of the Peoria Sunday Morning League. And Miller Lite and Baumgarten Distributing here in Peoria, as well as Crusens. Top of the 7th. It's, believe it or not, Ethan, I dare say it's almost getting just a tiny bit chilly out here.
Indeed it is. It's nice to have as opposed to one of the days where it doesn't dip below 90.
Well, thankfully for your sake, you weren't here on Sunday or Monday. Those were 2 scorchers of a broadcast. We may as well have been live from the sauna. I mean, it was 90 degrees, 70% humidity. I got here and within 10 minutes, I could look down and see sweat in my shirt. So, obviously that didn't look great. But thankfully tonight, none of that. And now the hairs on my arm standing up a little bit more. Maybe it's partially from cold temperatures, also from excitement as well. Again, big game here. If the Reds win, they are on to the championship series to face the Poor Bros Jacks.
The catcher, number 11, Cole Bakai.
Oh,
And Ponce is still up on the bump, so
it's inning number 7 for the former pitcher of the Knox Prairie Fire. They'll face again Bakai, Quinn, and Bradford, who are a combined 2 for 7, and both hits belonging to their leadoff hitter, Bradford. Kai flies this one over to right. And Busby makes the catch. That's 2 straight flyouts his direction for the Falcons. I was going to mention this earlier, but forgot until now. Again, great game unfolding. Glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsL.com. Not sure where all of our viewers are tuning in from, but let us know in the comments if you can. Always like to see where our viewers are tuning in from, so let us know. We'll maybe have a contest, see who's maybe the furthest away. I know we have some international viewers even, maybe here or there. That one fouled back out of play by Brian Quinn, who flew out to right, lined out to second. Appreciate you staying with us, too, at this hour of the night, now at 10 p.m. Central. Here's the pitch comes in to Quinn, swing and a miss. Dropped third, though he'll hustle it out to first. That's the way the old schoolers tell you how to do it, but Quinn is still thrown out. And Ponce has his 8th strikeout of the game, and surprisingly to say, first since the 3rd inning. 2 quickly down here for the Falcons, so see if they can conjure up some 2-out magic. Bradford looks at a breaking ball high. Bradford, a 2022 graduate of Illinois Central College, more famously known around the area as ICC. Bradford fouls that one up and out of play, so that'll benefit Ponce just a bit. Bradford 1 for 3 again at that first RBI of the entire season, despite playing in the lineup most of the entire season and batting leadoff. Had a walk and 2 strikeouts yesterday and followed that up with a 2-for-3 performance and 2 stolen bases here tonight. Ponce fouls, Bradford fouls that one back, and now the Reds could get out of it with just one more pitch. On the 108th pitch of the game, I should say now actually 113th pitch of the game. Game changer hasn't updated for Ponce, so very well this could be his last inning. And it doesn't matter how well you're pitching. 113 is quite a big number.
And heading into a potential third game tomorrow, you want to save your arm just in case.
This one is hammered by Bradford. Going back to left as off the wall. Bradford is digging for second. It might be a close play. He dives in there. Good backup from Stufflebeam because that throw from the cutoff Funk went long, and it could have been a triple, maybe even an inside the park home run.
And after going 0 for 4 on Monday, seeing him going 3 for 4 here so far today, good sight for Bradford.
Big spot now for Noah Campbell, the Falcons shortstop. As Bradford trots back to first and handing his batting gear back to Brian Quinn. Falcons just need a hit. That should be enough to score Bradford, who'll be running on contact. Breaking ball comes in for a strike. Ponce again talked about the shape that he is in, and a guy that really just takes his body seriously in fantastic condition, but still on his 116th pitch here. That one fouled back and out of play.
That's more than most pitchers are allowed to go, even in MLB.
Few can go that far, but Andrew Ponce is one of them. Campbell looking for his first hit tonight. This one is a line drive, but right in the glove of Funk. And we still can't scratch across the run for either squad. At least past the third. On to the bottom of the 7th. Reds have a chance to walk it off. If not, we'll be headed to extras here at the Eastside Center. And boy, it really looked between that deep fly ball from Bradford and that line drive from Campbell that the Falcons were going to score. Just a tough break there. And you hear almost kind of a little bit of a scream of relief from the Reds dugout over there.
For sure, because they have not been able to get as many base runners as they may have hoped. Being their past 2 games against the Falcons, being the 5-0 win and a 5-2 win then in the regular season.
Now we'll see if the Reds can have some magic. Here on Clutch Sports Media, it'll be Funk, Hankins, and Grant. All 3 very speedy options, so something to keep an eye on. The Reds, though, have not stolen, or I believe attempted a steal yet tonight. And Wilby Smith back out for his 4th inning. He's been, or I should say 3rd inning, pardon. He's been pretty efficient so far. Thrown 39 pitches tonight. 21 of them has been strikes. 3 strikeouts and 3 bases on balls.
And you gotta wonder how much further Smith's gonna go. Is in this inning, you gotta think that they're keeping him in no matter what. So can he go more, or does it? It all depends on how the Reds' bats are.
We shall see. Again, the Reds' bats have only had 3 hits tonight. Now Miller Lite is ahead of them in that regard, 5-3, but 1 run and no errors for either squad tonight. It's been a big reason why the scoring numbers have been so low. Good old-fashioned pitchers duel here in the Sunday Morning League semifinals. Funk has reached base both times tonight with a single back in the 3rd and a walk back in the 5th. He's also got 2 triples this year. That's tied for first in the Sunday Morning League, and looks at a strike there. so many chances for both teams that just have missed by a hair. Whether it's a close ball or strike call, a ball that was nearly got down for a hit.
There's been 3 hits that looked like they could be home runs tonight that weren't.
There have been some very loud flyouts tonight for sure. Funk lines this one to the right side. What a grab from Fletcher! Holy smokes, what a catch. You're not going to see him any better than that. I think that calls for a dun-a-nut, dun-a-nut.
Well, great play there by Fletcher. You can see that he's not just an offensive player for the Miller Lite Falcons, as now we see Hankins come up, as you mentioned, another speedy player for them.
We'll have to see. We may send that in the ESPN assignment desk for the top 10 plays. You never know. We have play on Clutch Sports Media has been the #1 play before. Back on December 30th of 2023. That was a crazy moment. About a 60-foot buzzer beater at halftime from Pecatonica's Cooper Hoffman at the State Farm Holiday Classic. We stayed up all night until about 1 or so a.m. watching Sports Center to see if it would be in the top 10, and we didn't think it would be #1. Sure enough, it was, and that was quite a fun moment.
It's always good to see the hard work pay off, whether it be just the broadcasters or the players on the field.
Well, again, we're not the ones doing the work. That's all credit to Justin Fletcher, and also a great follow from our camera operator, Josh Messenger, a true pro behind the camera tonight, and he was right on that. So it'll be 0-2 here to Hankins. And funny enough, we're talking about, again, plays that look like balls that look like they might be hits, and then Funk does that. Or I should say Fletcher does that. Just unbelievable. Full extension. So Hankins behind in the count against David Smith. Fouls that one off, and boy, the Reds are making Smith work for it.
Off the light.
Hear it rattle just a little bit, but no damage. Light's still shining. See if Hankins can have a bit more luck on his side this time. Wind and the pitch. This one grounded up the center. Fletcher, another sliding play. This time, though, he's not going to make it. That's an infield single from Hankins, but it would have been probably the best defensive plays back-to-back that you've ever seen in your whole life if he was able to make that.
And good ability to run that out by Hankins. His speed definitely helps out there a lot, as now he's on base with the ability to move forward to second.
And center fielder is usually pretty speedy, and that's the case for Hankins. We see Bakai talk with Smith on the mound. Again, the Reds score a run. They end the season of the Falcons, so no room for error here if you are Miller Lite. Grant is 1 for 3 tonight with a single and 2 strikeouts, and looks at a strike lone at the knees. Grant has 158 career hits, if we're not mistaken, and 159th could be a very big one. Might looks at a strike there, and Smith is quickly ahead.
0-2 now for Grant.
Van Hooklen on deck. Reds would love to extend the inning to him. Smith thought it was strike 3, a ball that was right about where his first pitch of the at-bat was.
You know, Grant's happy about that call.
Thought it may have been strike 3, but now that is strike 3 without a doubt there. tough night for Grant at the plate. He's struck out 3 times. So now that brings in Logan Van Hooklen. 2 for 3 with a double and a home run on Monday. Has a double and 2 walks here tonight. One of those walks was against Smith back in the 5th. Keep a close eye on Hankins at first. Another nice curve ball there from Smith, settles in for the strike. And Van Hooklen send the Reds into the championship series. Fouled back off.
You got to think here for Hankins, if it's a well-placed ball out into the outfield, you're rounding third no matter what.
And unless you are absolutely dead to rights, I think you certainly do have to see if the Reds can just walk it off here. And when bounced in the dirt, Hankins will move over to second. A rare miscue from the Falcons as that pitch from Smith just bounced in the turf. And Bakai's made some good stops today, but there wasn't really much stopping that one. So now that drastically changes things, as now just a simple base hit could potentially win you the game.
Anything to the outfield here for Van Hooklen.
Long look from Smith. He knows this is a massive pitch. Takes a look over at Hankins at second, and again, and a third time. Van Hooklen chases it for a strikeout. We're headed to extra innings. David Smith been racking up the Ks here tonight. That is number 5 for him. So we're moving on to extras, and given this way this game is gone, Ethan, if the pass is any indicator, could be here a while.
What's the longest game in the Sunday Morning League that you've ever done?
We may have done an 8-inning game last year. We haven't done an extra inning game this year. But again, in a game like this, you can't ask for much more suspense as we move on to the 8th. And we did see some bullpen action for the Reds. And indeed coming in, it will be their ace, Jack Barham, who, give you the line on him, 3-1 record, 1.30 ERA, 37 2/3 innings pitched, 37 Ks, 10 walks. And again, he's mainly a starter for this team. So I'm sure the Reds don't want him to go super terribly deep. They're going to want to obviously get out of here as soon as possible, but really no drop off at all from Ponce to him.
None at all. And you also got to think that no matter how late, like the later this game goes, it favors the Reds. Because as you mentioned before, the Falcons had their top 2 guys pitch earlier this week.
Yeah, it certainly does. The Reds also have a couple more arms in their pen. They got, assuming a perfect attendance for the Reds, they have Roy Ralston, Brandon Coates, Ian Donaldson, all in their bullpen, and I don't believe that any of them have pitched in the playoffs. So, and that's the benefit of winning those first 2 games is if they did have to play yesterday, maybe all 3 of those guys are, maybe not quite as rested or fresh off of a day of work. So we'll see what Barham brings, but he's had some good stuff this year. As for who he'll face, it'll be Fletcher, Deering, and Ketchum, 3, 4, 5 batters for the Falcons. So we'll see if Fletcher can continue making big plays after that outstanding diving grab in the field.
Second baseman number 6, Justin Fletcher.
And unlike Major League Baseball, they don't start with the runner on second. So this is the rules here are old school and almost as traditional as it gets, other than the universal DH, obviously.
Baseball's baseball here, that's for sure.
That one grazes inside. I thought it hit Fletcher, but I think it actually hit off of the catcher Van Hooklen. Breaking ball just lost control inside there from Barham. pitch high there. And Van Hoekelen out to talk to his new pitcher. Taking a look at Ponce's final line. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, and 3 walks. And he will not get the decision tonight. So it's all in the hands of both bullpens.
And if you're Ponce, you got to be proud after that type of performance. You did everything you can. Now heading into extras, it's up to your team to put some runs on the board.
The way this game is gone, you may just need one. That one inside, and Barm is like that inside spot, but so far Fletcher hasn't swung. And a ball 4 there, 4-pitch walk. Not how Barham wanted to come into the game. You got to wonder, again, with him mainly being a starter, maybe if it feels a bit different coming into a game in relief. Maybe feels different playing in a game where it's, 10-20 or so at night rather than, still into the evening. So this one is grinding to the right side. Stufflebeam over to second to get one. Over to first, and it's past the first baseman. And Darien, though, will stay at first. So it'll be a fielder's choice for the Falcons.
Number 99, Luke Ketchum.
Red's got to be thankful that Darien didn't motor around to second.
Played it safe there. Is, again, with this low scoring of a game, you got to take whatever base runners you can get and not chance it at this point.
So now here comes Ketchum, who, big, what they call a daddy hack right there. He's trying to send that one over the fence. It ended up just getting nothing but air. Looks at another strike there. Now Barham looks like he's starting to settle in a bit. I think it's going to be important again for both these teams, especially the Falcons. Even though you really want to run, as Ketchum strikes out tonight for his 3rd time, so he's got the hat trick. Hey, you don't need to be swinging for the fences every at bat. Everyone does want to be the hero. Everyone wants that, that big home run and gets the team all riled up. But yeah, you just need base runners. You don't need to, and not accusing Ketchum of anything there, but you don't need to be swinging for the fences.
Good breaking pitch there by Barham. Well, like you said, you don't need to be swinging for the fences. You have a guy on base, just move him around.
Hit to the wall, though, could be useful. That went low to Ethan Sosnowski. He's 1 for 3 with a single. And when these two teams faced off on Monday, he was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Another swing and a miss there. Barham proving hard to hit last couple pitches. Pitch could get him out of the inning. This is line to left, and there you go. Move the runners over. That's what Sosnowski did. Now Darien's in scoring position. A nice piece of contact there.
Batting the first baseman, number 34, Chase Ulrich.
So now here's Ulrich, and the way his playoffs have gone, it hasn't been great so far, but could erase that all with a big base hit here. We'll get a courtesy runner, or maybe actually I think a pinch runner for Deering. He's not the catcher, so no courtesy runner. It'll be Nate Bartman, the utility player out of ICC. Brings a little bit more speed into the game. Multi-sport athlete at Metamora High School.
Trying to make sure any base hit gets a run there.
That one sails inside, and Ulrich dives back out of the way. Ulrich is 0 for his last 9. But again, won't really matter if he can get a big hit here. That one also comes inside, and now we're seeing more of what Barham did that at bat with Fletcher, where just tailing pitches inside that nearly hit the batters.
force them off the plate.
2-0. On the outside, and Van Hookland double clutches and throws back, and Bartman dives back safely. Not a huge impetus for Bartman to run with 2 outs, and you're a speedy guy at second base, but you never know. Possibly going to third could help you in some situations. That one is low, and Ulrich is on with a walk, so he does his job, get on base. And that again brings up Cole Bakai, or rather, no, looks like
Now batting the
Yeah,
catcher,
pull
number
Bakai up.
Cole.
it will be Bakai. Looks like we saw Brian Quinn come out of the dugout briefly, and I thought it was a pinch hitter, but it is Bakai, the catcher, who's 0 for 3. And anything could help you score a run here. A walk, an error, a wild pitch, a single. Big at-bat here for Barham, who starts it off nicely with a breaking ball in the zone. Third base coach Tim Cundiff saying, come on, CB. Big swing and a miss there from Bakai, and now it's quickly 0-2. Arms, we'll see if he gets him to chase. An 0-2 in the dirt. Nice stop by Van Hookland. If that ball gets by again, Bartman is probably scurrying across the plate. And Bakai did not chase. Another breaking ball, and he got him. Jack Barham allows 3 base runners and 2 walks, but 2 huge strikeouts get him out of the 8th. And the Reds have a chance again to win it in the bottom of the frame with Clark, Stufflebeam, and Busby up to bat. Fantastic pitching from Barham and great resilience as well.
Now it'll be interesting to see who comes up on the bump for the Falcons.
See if it'll be Smith or will it be someone else. It will be Smith. 28 is trotting back out for his 4th inning. As we get deeper into the night here, 10:25 here in East Peoria, and I'm watching my hours of sleep before tomorrow's road trip vanish in real time, Ethan.
Wish the best of luck to you with that. I'm sure you can always.
I will have to ask my girlfriend to drive the morning portion at least tomorrow, I think.
What are you up to in Denver?
I will. Thanks for asking. I will be seeing my aunt. She lives outside of the city in the mountains a little bit, and also my grandparents live in town as well. So I'll be seeing them. Haven't seen them in a little bit, and it just so happens that my family, my mom, dad, and sister will also be out there as well. But they're making the pit stop in Denver while they are taking my sister out to school in out in California. So they're on their way out there, and I'm not gonna say invited themselves, but after they heard that we would be in Denver on that time, they wondered if they could do the same, and sure enough, they did. So we'll be seeing them as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to being outside. Love the mountains. Love Colorado. Most beautiful state out there, in my opinion. So looking forward to hanging out there for kind of for my sake really the last days of summer before the high school season really begins in earnest. So should be a fun time. But more fun baseball coming up though. We'll see if the Reds have more dramatics in store. At almost every half inning since I think the 5th, it seemed like that the team is going to jump out in front and get that second run, and it just has not happened.
Has not. We've seen a lot of runners just left on base this game, like overall. Whether it being in scoring position just on first base. Once there's someone on first, second, or third, or even all 3, if there's 2 outs in the game, people aren't getting the hits.
Well, I'm officially counting up left on base numbers for both teams. Crusens has left 8 on base. And unofficial stats, As we'll see Jason Clark here. Chopped it off the plate and foul. Miller Lite on the other hand. We tally up their runners left on base.
And Clark with 5 stolen bases this season, you got to expect if he gets on base, he's going to work for that run.
The Falcons have left 9 runners, so a combined 17 runners that left on base, and only 2 of them have scored. Now 0-2 to Clark, the Reds' third baseman, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and an RBI tonight. Strike 3, another great pitch from Smith, who is still rolling in his 4th inning of work.
Now batting the first baseman, number 22, Reed Stufflebeam.
Stufflebeam has had his fair share of moments in tonight's game. Looks for another one.
Stufflebeam 0 for 3 though at the plate. Lined out to third baseman his last time up. Busby on deck for the Reds. If it were to get to the 9th, it'll be Quinn, Bradford, and Campbell. Pitch on the outside for a strike. Stufflebeam thought it was a ball. That one reaches the backstop. Is unfortunately for the Reds, no one on base.
Makes the count 3-1. Gotta wonder if Stufflebeam's gonna swing away or if he's gonna take 1 or 2 pitches here. Well, he got the green light there, that's for sure. However, the air might have moved, but not about anything else.
Here's the 3-2. This one's lined to the right side, and that's a fair ball. Stufflebeam across first. He'll hold up there. What a great throw from Sosnowski. Looked like it had extra bases written all over it. Still held to just a 1-bagger.
The right fielder, number 20, Keegan Busby.
And we will get a pinch runner. It'll be Trent Jordan, the 22-year veteran among one of the league's all-time leaders in stolen bases. So Stufflebeam will come out.
Now running at first base, number 6, Trent Jordan.
But again, another opportunity here for the Reds, and with Smith potentially wearing down a bit, gotta wonder. Busby is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Hit to the wall could potentially win it. Big swing and a miss, and nothing doing there in the turf. Jordan looking antsy over at first. Again, now running another breaking pitch and a strike from Smith. Really every pitcher that's taken the mound tonight has just looked fantastic tonight. I mean, they've frozen batters, they've made them chase, they've really done everything. That one just got a piece of and fouled out of play. Barham on deck. Now he's originally it was the DH, but is now the pitcher. This one hit hard to center. This one could get down. It does. It's a base hit. Jordan will stop at second, and 2 runners are on base after the single from Busby.
I think that's the first time there's been back-to-back hits this game, unless I'm mistaken.
I think you would be correct.
Barham.
So Busby, him at first doesn't really matter. In fact, if anything, it actually maybe even hurts the Reds because now you have a force at first, second, or third. But again, you got Jordan now over to second and Barham with a chance. Again, now the pitcher to help his own cause and win the game. He squares to bunt outside for a ball.
We're seeing some small ball potentially here, if he can get the bat there.
And with one out, a bunt could potentially put runners on second and third with 2 outs, which pretty much then you're banking on that Caden Spencer is going to get you a base hit and win you the game, and it looks like Barham is going to square up here. Pulls it back, another ball. So, I don't know, we'll see. Smith has got to come in with some strikes sooner or later. And Jordan's got good speed over there at second. And another ball there from Smith, and it's quickly 3-0. He cannot afford to walk Barham here. The only positive is that it sets up the force play at home plate.
And if you're Barham here,
I think you're laying off regardless.
I was just going to say, you got to just not swing unless you're willing to explain why you're swinging at anything 3-0 with 2 runners on.
He will offer, but pulls back, and it's a 4-pitch walk from Smith. Barham draws the walk. And so now the bases are juiced for Caden Spencer, who could potentially send his team into the Sunday Morning League Championship Series, but not before a infield conference on the mound. As Deering, Campbell, Fletcher, Ulrich, Buckeye, and Smith all converge. Yeah, let's run through the scenarios here. Shallow fly ball. I think that could get really interesting again. You got Jordan speed at second, but again, it's shallow. You don't want to, the risk you run is that you throw it out, innings over. You could leave to see another day with Funk on deck. Ground ball, Falcons will immediately have to come home, and they're going to hope it's probably a hard hit one as well. Anything in the gap a little bit, I think may be enough to score. Swing and a miss from Spencer, way out in front of that one.
He wants it.
And who wouldn't, to be fair? This is about as big of a moment as it gets. Chance to win against your rivals in a walk-off. Opportunity is there. Another pitch, just like the first. Low and in the turf, and Spencer flails at it.
He's just trying for any contact at this point, which obviously I'm sure you and I both understand. If you can get the bat on the ball.
Just get the ball in play, you have a chance. You want to make sure that you don't swing it anything out of the zone, though. It could potentially be 2-0, though. See what Smith comes in with here. This one chopped. Here comes the play to the plate. Jordan slides. They got him. Just in time. Huge play from the Falcons defense. I believe that was the third baseman Deering. That was him or the shortstop Campbell. I couldn't tell in real time. But Buckeye's foot almost came off the plate. It almost was not a force. Throw almost took him off of his feet. That's just how close the Reds were.
And we've seen Noah Funk have some hard hit balls today. The Reds hope he can have another one, although it needs to be in play for a hit.
Yeah, productive out won't get you anywhere here. Here's Funk. Inside for a strike. Again, if you're Smith too, a lot of pressure here. You cannot afford a walk.
Gotta stay ahead in the count here if you're Smith, which he has been.
So far, so good. Inside, that time though for a ball. Smith, or I should say Funk, 1 for 2 tonight with a walk and a single. Reds have had 2 singles and a walk here this inning. Pitch coming in, and that's also a ball as well. So now this is a really important pitch for Smith. If you don't throw a strike, you're looking at being down 3-1.
At that point, you almost got to throw it over the plate.
Sheriff Funk would have the green light there. This one comes in and fouled off. Straighten that ball out, and that might be your ball game, but it was directly foul, and now it's 2-2. Smith comes in. That ball is past the catcher. Here comes Jordan. That's going to win the Reds the game. Crusens is going to the championship series. A walk-off wild pitch. Can you believe it? Heartbreak for the Falcons. And sheer joy for the Crusens Reds. It'll be a rematch in the best-of-3 series. What a game.
What an ending there for Crusens. Walk-off, wild pitch, something that you almost never see. And overall, great season there from Miller Lite Falcons. They had a great season, finishing it 16-10, making it to the semifinals. But we'll see Crusens take on Poor Bros in the championship series.
It's going to be a fantastic game. Or I should say fantastic 2, maybe even 3 games. What a match we saw here today. Walk-off wild pitch. Trent Jordan scores the winning run, the 22-year league veteran tonight. And again, a pitcher's duel, a big credit to all the pitchers tonight. Bryce Seaton was great for the Falcons. David Smith was great for the Falcons. Andrew Ponce was phenomenal for the Reds. Jack Barham also really good as well. Again, just a game like this, 2 very good teams, a pitcher's duel. It's at those really tiny margins, and unfortunately for the Falcons, they just made one very crucial and season-ending mistake.
Indeed they did, and as you said, great game, pitcher's duel. You won't see one of those very often, but the Reds got it done in the end.
They celebrate the win tonight, and we celebrate a great season of broadcast here at the Peoria Sunday Morning League. Again, I want to thank everyone involved, from all the league sponsors, from also to Zach Schulte, Tim Cundiff, for helping bring us back again. And also want to thank all of our staff that helps make these broadcasts possible. Our Josh Messenger behind the camera tonight, Ethan Carboni, my broadcast partner for this game. And last but not least, I want to give a huge shout out to Patrick Huber, our producer tonight. These are the final games that he is working before he heads off. I said mistakenly earlier he was going to the University of Nebraska. I just got mistaken because he's such a big Nebraska fan, but he's actually going to the University of Kentucky, heading down to Lexington here shortly. So Patrick has been a big part of our company for the last 2 years, been phenomenal work behind the scenes, whether it's been on the camera, producing, directing, and he has just been money all the way through. We'll still be around, I'm sure, for some off-season tournaments, especially during the holidays as well. And Patrick, again, a guy that says that he doesn't really want to be on air, doesn't really talk much, but Patrick, I'm going to give you a chance to say anything you want here again before your last game, before you head off down to Kentucky.
It's been an honor and a pleasure these past 2 years. Looking forward to stay involved with Clutch during probably the TOC and the State Farm Holiday Classic. But yeah, it's been an absolute wild ride, and I've loved every moment of it.
Very well said, Patrick. Very well said. We thank Patrick for what he's done. We also thank you for tuning in as well, wherever you were tonight. You saw a great game. It'll be Crusens and Poor Bros in the Sunday Morning League Championship Series, best of 3 at Dozer Park, Sunday, Monday, and on Tuesday if necessary. Get out to the ballpark if you can. But for now, this is Jonathan Uncle saying so long from the Eastside Center. Crusens and Poor Bros will dance again at Dozer.